faculty here, Fremd English Department, Mrs. A, Mr. Anderson, tech crew, and of course all you wonderful students for making Writers Week happen year after year. So let's clap it up for all the people who helped make Writers Week great each year. It's my pleasure to introduce our next two guests that are both Fremd faculty members. So we are going to start with Mr. Dave Strakowski. He's been a business education teacher at Fremd for 10 years. This is his second year performing at Writers Week. He appreciates Writers Week because it gives writers, readers, and performers an opportunity to express themselves and audience members a chance to see another side of somebody that they may not have known existed. And then Miss Andrea Fritz has taught English at Fremd and is currently a French teacher. She's in her 19th year at Fremd and her 17th year as a member of Fanboys, our amazing faculty Writers Week band who is performing today, 4th through 6th period, so hopefully you'll have a chance to see them as well. Ms. Fritz loves how Writers Week brings people with different backgrounds and stories together to recognize what we have in common. So without further ado, please join me first in welcoming Mr. Dave Strakowski.
All right. Good morning, everybody. So, this is round 2 for me at Writers Week. I was actually supposed to play on Monday, but last week at the end of the week, I ended up getting sick, and I lost my voice on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and thought it was back Monday, and went away again on Tuesday and Wednesday. So here I am Thursday morning trying to struggle through this performance. So thank you guys for coming, and the goal for me is just to share a little bit of music with you guys, a little bit about myself. I do write music, not as regularly as I used to, but I do write. A lot of different influences. I have a weird background because I didn't really grow up with parents that were really into music. They listened to music, but they didn't play instruments, for example. So I listened to a lot of pop music when I was a kid. I had 2 sisters. I was the middle child, so we had a lot of NSYNC and Backstreet Boys going on in my house, and that kind of gave me my joy for pop music. But then I started to discover other guitar players and soloists like Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, John Petrucci, all these solo guys that I started listening to, and more recently, I've gotten into some things with John Mayer. I played last year. I'm going to start off with a tune by him today. And then, a little bit of Fleetwood Mac, just stuff that's really challenged me as a guitarist. And so I'm going to share some of those with you, and then I'll share one original, and then we'll give Mrs. Fritz time for hers. So we should be good. All right, so this first one, it's a John Mayer tune, and this one is called Stop This Train. No, I'm not colorblind. I know the world is black and white. Try to keep an open mind, but I just can't sleep on this tonight. Stop this train. I wanna get off and go home again. I can't take the speed it's moving in. I know who I can, 'cause honestly, won't someone stop this train? Don't know how else to say it. Don't wanna see my parents go. One generation's led the way from finding life out on my own. Whoa, come on, stop this train. I wanna get off and go home again. I can't take the speed it's moving in. I know I can, but honestly, won't someone stop this train? So scared of getting older, I'm only good at being young. So I played the numbers game to find a way to say my life is just begun. Had a talk with my old man, said help me understand. But you turned 68, oh, you renegotiate. You said don't stop this terrain, don't for a minute change the place you're in. I don't think I could never understand. Yet I tried my hand, John, honestly, we'll never stop in this train. Oh, now once in a while, when it's good, yet I feel like it should. When you're all still around, and you're still safe and sound, and you don't miss a thing, so you cry when you're driving away in the dark, yeah. Singing, stop this train. I wanna get off and go back home again. I can't take the speed this thing is moving in. I know I can't, 'cause now I see I'm never gonna stop this train. Yeah. I'm never gonna stop this train. Oh, I'm never gonna stop this train. Oh, I'm never gonna stop this train. Oh, I'm never gonna stop this train. I agree. So as you guys can tell, my voice is a little shot still. So sorry when I go into the upper register, I'm gonna have to figure that one out. But so the next one I'm gonna play for you guys is a song that I've heard it before, but I didn't really know what it was until I did a little research into it, which may sound ridiculous for some because if you're really familiar with the song, it's an old one. I think it's from the 1970s. But this is a tune by the group Fleetwood Mac called Landslide. So I actually was pleasantly surprised to hear one of our choir groups was playing it in between sets a couple times the last couple days, which has been really, really great to hear. But this song, I got interested in learning how to play it over like one of the past winter breaks. I think it was last year. And anybody here watch the movie Jack Frost? Okay, it's an oldie. About a dad who passes away, turns into a snowman, comes back. Yeah, there's a whole thing. But anyway, one of the songs that's played in the middle of that movie is this song. And my wife fell asleep as she normally does during movie time at our house. And I was up watching it kind of by myself and heard the tune, and I was like, man, I gotta learn how to play that. So I got to it, put the headphones in, and just started learning how to play it over the course of like the next 6 months. So yeah, I'm gonna try to play that here for you, and then I've got one original after this. Okay? took my love and I took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills where the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Ooh, I don't know. Ooh. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. Well, time makes you bolder, and children get older. Well, I'm getting older too. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my whole life around you. Well, time makes you bolder, and children get older. Well, I'm getting older too. Well, I'm getting older too. So take this love, take it down. Oh, when you climb a mountain and you turn around, and if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, where the landslide bring it down, down. And if you see my reflection in a snow-covered hills, well, maybe the landslide will bring it down. Well, the landslide will bring it down. This is why everybody who comes up here deserves so much praise. It is so nerve-wracking. It's kind of cool. You can see me shaking. I'm so nervous, though. All right. So this last one, this is a song that I wrote kind of following learning this. By the way, finger picking while nervous, not a good idea. But this is one of those songs that I started to incorporate some finger picking into my own, a little bit of that technique with John Mayer on that first tune. And last year I wrote a song for my son's first birthday. He actually turns 3 this year, but I wrote the song a year prior. I just didn't get a chance to perform it until Writers Week this past year. But instead, so this time, this next song I wrote is about the first time I actually ever met my wife. So my wife and I have been together for 19 years, I think it is. So we've been together since high school. And the first time I met her, I remember it vividly. She probably doesn't remember it so much, but it was she was in the hallway at Schaumburg High School, in the swim hallway. I was a diver. I was walking into practice, and she was taking care of the coach's kids. They had 3 kids at the time. And I remember saying something like, "Man, it looks like you got your hands full." And she gave me the glaringest, most evil look in the world as these 3 kids were, driving her crazy. And I walked into practice and kind of went on. But it's just funny because looking back on that now, I see the chaos in my own life with our own child and all the other things that we've done, and it's just kind of funny that it came back full circle. So this one I wrote for her. You'll kind of get some of the references as we get through it. So this is the last one. We crossed paths a time or two, or met up once before. How'd I know you'd be the one that life's worth living for? I walked by not thinking that we meet again. Little did I know that you'd be with me now until the end. I've still got a story to tell. It's not just me and you. We've added to this life of ours. Now it's 1 + 2. I walked by not thinking that we meet again. Little did I know that we'd be 1, 2, 3 until the end. Till the end. We crossed paths a time or two, or met up once before. How'd I know you'd be the one that life's worth living for? I walked by not thinking that we meet again. Little did I know that you'd be with me now until the end. Thank you. We have time? All right. ¿Uno más? All right. Trying to think what I should play. All right. So I played this one last year, and this one by far took me the longest to learn. This one's a song also by John Mayer called Neon. When sky blue gets dark enough to see the colors of the city lights, the trail of ruby red and diamond white hits her like a sunrise. She comes and goes like no one can. Tonight she's out to lose herself. Find a high old Peachtree Street. Mixed drinks to techno beats, it's always heavy into everything. She comes and goes like no one can. She comes and goes, yeah, no one knows. She's stepping through my hands. She's always buzzing just like neon, neon. neon, neon. Who knows how long, how long, how long she can go before she burns away. I can be her angel now. You know it's not my place to hold her down, and it's hard for me to take a stand when I would take her anyway I can. She comes and she goes, she's like no one can. She comes and she goes, she's slipping through my hands. She's always buzzing just like neon, 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 neon. Who knows how long, how long, how long she can go before she burns away. Oh, she comes and she goes like no one can, like no one can. She comes, yeah, she goes. She's slipping all through my hands. Oh, she's always buzzing just like neon, 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 neon. Who knows how long, how long, how long she can go before she burns away. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Give it up for Miss Andrea Fritz.
Hi. I'm gonna just do this. This cozy. How you doing? That was awesome. What an awesome way to start. Let's give another round of applause for Dave. I'd like to share with you, and thank you for letting us share with you. It's such an honor. It's really humbling to be able to have people to share what you make with. So I'd like to share with you today a narrative that I wrote and then a couple of poems. The narrative writing process is one where, for me at least, I start with, it's almost just like journal writing, like just write ideas, write ideas, write ideas. And that's like step one, just your feelings, write your feelings. And then step two is how can I make this digestible for people so that it's not just my story that's being told, but so that there's some part of it that other people can connect to or see their own lives in. And the step two is it's the hard part. Although writing your feelings can actually be hard too, because you have to admit and be honest with yourself about what you're feeling and what you're going through. So I guess they're both the hard part. But one thing that I do, and I've always kind of done, is just notice melancholy and notice irony. And so whenever I see something, I'll give you an example. Like when I was 11, we first went to Disneyland. And we're on this ride. It's a small world ride, and it's supposed to be like this beautiful little experience. And there's all these little animated people from all over the world singing, "It's a small world after all." You know, and it's like, oh, you're supposed to be having this idyllic Disneyland experience. And all I could notice at 11 was that like some of the arms were kind of creaky and the paint was chipped off, and I was like, this is ironic. Like, I'm supposed to be at this beautiful place having this beautiful experience, and there's this underbelly to it that feels kind of ugly. And so I've noticed throughout life that I just kind of, I write those things down, and those are the things for me that make writing come to life. It's the contraries that make it come to life. So I write those things down, and then maybe they don't end up in anything for 10 years until later. And it's writing those ideas down in those little moments that you could use if you enjoy writing or creating art at all, that you could use later in anything that you do. You never know when it's going to come back. For this first piece that I'm going to read, I was listening to Malcolm Gladwell give a little writing class, and he said, you don't need to be so heavy-handed on transitions. He said, I just number my sections, and readers are smart enough to be able to put the pieces together. So for this, I decided I'm just going to go Malcolm Gladwell, because I tend to be heavy-handed with, like, this is what I mean. Let me tell you again. Let me transition again. This is what I mean. So I thought, this time let's just, like, and let the words kind of, like blow up into the air. They don't have to all be there. Just blow it off. It's okay. So you'll just hear numbered sections, but you'll connect the dots. I don't have a title, but I do have a quote, and it's from Simone de Beauvoir, who was a French writer, and she said, in French, she wrote, on ne naît pas femme, on ne devient, which is one isn't born a woman, but one becomes one. 1. You'd be surprised what pain does to people. My doctor reassured me. I told her I felt badly for what I had said about my unborn daughter. I said, just cut it out of me. I had been hours deep in the drum of unmedicated labor because 3 epidurals hadn't taken. Abusive hospital staff will not be tolerated, read signs in the hallway. But I kept pushing nurses and pleading, why won't they help me? I don't know how to do this. Just cut it out of me. After hours of waiting to see if another stab in the back would hit the right spot, a forlorn anesthesiologist leaned into my ear and said, the only way you're going to get through any of this is if you breathe. And then she pumped me with local anesthetic, which paralyzed my left leg for 2 days after my daughter was finally born. The numbness should resolve within 24 hours, affirmed a recovery doctor the next day. Every time I wanted or needed my baby, which was constantly because babies eat and poop on repeat, I had to call a nurse so someone could bring her to me. I got tired of it and fell when trying to one-legged walk myself to the bathroom. I then made the mistake of telling a nurse, after which a man in a suit visited me to inquire if I'd had any injuries and deduce if I was going to sue the hospital. At the end of day 2, a team of interns invaded my room to take note of how one rolls his partially paralyzed postpartum patient to the bathroom and sits her on the toilet. 2. My grandma walked unassisted until nearly her last day, aged 96. She stood lopsided over pans of hot dogs and beans in her kitchen, stirring and grumbling at you if you tried to help or told her to sit down. Her kitchen table was her epicenter. It was here that I cut her hair into the few chic bobs that she requested. She sunk into a settee behind the table, her little head reigning over pill bottles and boxes of junk mail. In the piles of mail were solicitations from every animal rescue group in Arizona. Phoenix Poultry Rescue, Horsin' Around Rescue, and the Hangry Donkey Sanctuary. She sent them all money, thousands over the years. At 91, she declared, "I'm not buying leather anymore," then gave me her fur coats. When you opened a kitchen drawer, you never knew if you were going to find forks or diamonds. She outgrew her jewelry boxes, and what was the point anyway when one can just live amongst her gemstones? As a kid, I sat in the back of her sporty white Jaguar, her wrists dripping in diamond bracelets, and I learned that being a woman was going to be a fabulous affair. Often, as I admired a piece she was wearing, she would take it off, hand it to me, and casually say, "Oh, you can have that." The last summer I spent with Grandma when she was well, I spotted a small box behind stacks of dishes in the dining room cabinet. Curious, I opened it to find 3 diamond bracelets and a note in her handwriting that read, "Diamonds?" question mark. "Grandma, did you know these bracelets were in the curio?" "Oh, yeah. I used to wear those all the time. I think I had a couple diamond bracelets. I don't know if those are the ones, though." I knew that those were, in fact, the ones. If you want to get them fixed, you can just have them. 3. When my epidurals kept failing, the nurse told me I'd have to remove my bracelets so she could reinsert an IV. No, I'm not taking those off. They were my grandma's diamond bracelets, and I wasn't going to give birth, bring a new life into the world without her there. The nurse replied with something like, "Well, I guess we can work around them, but if anything happens and you're unable in an emergency, there's a chance we'd have to cut them off." No. I almost pushed her again. Throughout labor, Grandma called my mom to ask, "How is Andrea? Is the baby here yet?" 4. My daughter was 1.5 months old when she and I flew to see Grandma. It was discovered that she had cancer in almost every organ. She had no pain, no warning signs. Within a week, she was in hospice where we visited her. Her hair was pulled into a ponytail where I could see defiant black mixed into the gray. Never a victim, one of the last things she said was, "It's okay. I've lived a good life." When we arrived, the nurse said Grandma might be able to hear when we spoke to her. I lie my daughter beside her, 2 fragile ladies scrunched on a shared pillow, 100 years between them. "Grandma, I know you wanted to meet the baby. She's here, right here with you. Her little hand is on your arm right now. This is Evangeline Marie. She has your middle name." Grandma let out a deep, labored moan. She passed away that night. The gold hoop earrings and diamond necklace that she never took off had been removed before she was sent to the hospital. They were left at her spot on the kitchen table. 5. At 4:08 a.m. on April 5th, Evangeline was born under a full moon, the diamond her birthstone. When she was trying to be born, it felt like death and life were sharing the room, different facets of the same stone, bouncing light in every direction. With our laboring over, our screaming hushed, and her soft breathing steadied, everything became silent. Protecting her vulnerable body on my chest, I kept whispering, "You're safe here." Refractions of light from my bracelets were throwing rainbows across Evangeline's blanket. I took a breath. We are safe here. Woo! Hi, Grandma. This next poem is about my son's birth. It's shorter. It's a shorter piece. It's called "Still I Listen." And I want you to, I guess you just want to know that the full moon of every month has a name. So the December full moon is called the cold moon. The January full moon is the wolf moon, and the February full moon is the snow moon. So I started out kind of accidentally evoking the different full moons in this poem, and then I ran with it. It's addressed to my husband, and there's a point where the lyrics of the song "Silent Night," you'll hear them. I'm not going to sing them, but imagine somebody singing them. So this is called "Still I Listen." You don't know I wait outside our son's door when the sky slides into night to hear you sing to him. Silent night, holy night. In the hush between notes, I wait for your voice to rise again, the gentle wolf caroling to his pup. All is calm, all is bright. Outside, the moon holds fast like on the night our son was born, pushed before he wanted to be with a howl, a tear, a rush of red exposed like fangs beneath hospital lights, too bright. we didn't belong there. You drove us home as it started to snow, a whitewashing of every day, every night, everything that came before. We were now 3 in our forest of unfamiliars, one gnarled, one drained, one untamed, all savage with hope. Months of wailing nights, ravenous for rest, have since turned over into newfound stillness, and our 2-year-old sleeps into the silence with a song. Round young virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild. He hums along, a lullaby embedded in his bones from some ancient winter, with his own rhythm, his own tune, and I snatch away before you finish, because it feels like intruding, and because if I don't hear the last line, the last lull, the last note that falls into the last silence, then maybe the song never ends. Maybe you go on singing forever, a father and his son under the cold moon. Sleep in heavenly peace. Maybe I won't walk away knowing that I'm gifted a handful of moons. So few Christmases, so few Christmas wolves. You know, I went to Schaumburg High School too. Where'd Dave go? There you are. Go Saxons. And you know, I listened to NSYNC too. So, you know, yeah. Do you ever know who NSYNC is? You know who Justin Timberlake is. You know, okay, so Justin Timberlake, NSYNC, all right. So in high school's rough stuff, guys, you know? High school's like probably one of the hardest experience, the funnest and maybe the hardest experience that you're gonna have because you're experiencing so many things for the first time. And people are gonna be like, well, your 30s are so hard and your 20s are hard. Your 40s are hard and your 50s, it's all hard, guys. It's all hard and it's all beautiful. But in high school, it's like the first time for all the things, and you have to be asserting your independence at the same time as trying to do that while your parents are still protecting you. It's tough. The way I got through it was with friends and by laughing, like just laughing. You know fanboys, right? You know fanboys. You know fanboys. I'm just going to share this. I don't know if I'm going to regret it, but I'm just going to share this because fanboys today and because. So my best friend in high school and I would write, and that's what we did. That was kind of how we got through high school. We would write, and it was so romantic. We'd go outside and we'd lay under the stars and we'd write together, and sometimes we'd fall asleep in the field behind my house, which pissed my dad off because he was like, "You're right off of Spring and Scooth Road. Like, car could just come knock. What are you doing?" But we had so much fun, and we were so wise. We were so wise. Under the stars, and what we wrote were parodies, wherein we would make fun of our teachers. So I have it coming. I get it. I only remember one of them. They're all saved. Like we would sing them to the karaoke tapes, and they're all saved on karaoke cassettes somewhere. But one of the songs that we did was an NSYNC song, and it was "God Must Have Spent a Little More Time on You," which no doubt Mr. Strakowski knows. Naturally. The original lyrics were written by Carl Sturken and Evan Rogers. So round of applause to Carl Sturken and Evan Rogers for this romantic, the original words. Your love is like a river, peaceful and deep. Your soul is like a secret that I never could keep. When I look into your eyes, I know that it's true. God must have spent a little more time on you. My mom had this thing in the basement called a butt master. And it was this like butt exerciser. And so me and my friend Erin got such a kick out of this thing, so we wrote a song about the butt master. And the words go as such by Aaron Johnson and Andrea Fritz. My butt master works wonders, wonders indeed. My buns are hard as boulders, not flabby and weak. When I'm looking at my buns, I know that it's true. I'd like to spend a little more time with you. Okay. The English department does a book exchange every Christmas, and 2 years ago I got Gina Enck as my book exchange person, and I'm like, what do you get, Gina Enck? Because she's read everything in the world, and Mrs. Gerber said, write her something, and I don't know why I was feeling particularly ambitious that year, but I did. So this last poem is for all of you and your English teachers, because you all are Vikings, yes? You're Vikings. Everybody say, we're Vikings! Vikings! Woo! When I first got hired here, Gary Anderson asked me, what do you think is the most important thing that a student should learn as a writer? And I said, to have a voice, to find their voice. And when you're finding your voice, it's hard to do that when all day long you have other voices in your head telling you what to do and what to think and what they think. And it's really hard to do that when your face is in social media all day. So if you do anything today, take like a minute to get off of that and hear your voice. Listen to yourself. And even if your voice changes every 3 seconds and it's a different self, it's a different truth, at least it's your truth. It's not somebody else's voice in your head. So find your voice. This is for you all, the Vikings, and all your inspiring, amazing, wonderful teachers who help you find your voice. Viking women are wild story keepers, teaching warriors' children the great sagas, schooling them to recite and write stories of their own. She, Gina Enck, this Viking wild woman sheathed in green and golden brooches at her shoulders, sits fireside with eyes wide, weaving eddas of untamed heroes. On those days when cold hits boy and girl faces like an awakening, to be the student, you, is staggering and holy. She teaches students to stab at narratives about who they are and who they think they can be. They slice words, reassemble thoughts, cleave shields that keep them safe. Storylines hemorrhage onto pages and voices howl in ink. Again the teacher prods, sharpen your sword, stab, again. She gathers wood and readies matches inside wanting classrooms. She lights fires to their impossibles until they tell their everythings, become their own heroes. She, Viking wild woman, helps them understand that they, you, are the story keepers. And victory is when they understand that if Addie Bundren can be a fish, and a poem can be held to the light like a color slide, or a mind can be split like the presence of blackbirds, then they, Vikings, can be writers.